Sometimes when I read the Old Testament, I don't really feel like God is a God of love. It is very popular, very in vogue in Christian circles to be the utmost thing about God is love. He always loves us. It's unconditional. And that's probably true, but I have questioned it because it just seems like maybe that wasn't the thing that people always focused on this much. So I asked the AI bot that I created about what the Bible actually says about God being a God of love, and if that is basically his main characteristic trait. I built this AI bot uploading the Greek New Testament and Hebrew Old Testament and told the bot to only reference those two original texts. So check this out. See what you think. All right, so I asked it, is God a God of love? Please look at God's actions and see if it aligns with what the Bible says about God loving us. You know, the Old Testament is just so brutal sometimes. That's kind of part of what made me question it. So stage one, I've asked it to give me direct textual evidence drawn just from the Old and New Testament. Okay, so it says it finds that statement, God is love, in 1 John. There it is in Greek. It says, because God is love. And it goes on and says he sent his son to die. That shows that he loves us and that he loved us first. Okay, we know that from 1 John. All right, and so now we go to the Old Testament, which is what I'm super curious about because his actions. I'm curious if his actions line up. So the Hebrew there in Exodus says that Yahweh delivered Israel from the hand of Egypt. Blessed be Yahweh who delivered you from the hand of Egypt. Okay, so I guess you could see that as a loving action. And the actions described goodness and deliverance. Okay, it takes the exact Hebrew text words. All right, it talks about compassion and restoration in Deuteronomy. Let's see. It says in the literal translation of Deuteronomy here, and Yahweh your God will restore your captivity and have compassion on you. Okay, and Yahweh your God will circumcise your heart to love Yahweh your God. Interesting. Circumcise your heart so that you will love Yahweh your God. Huh. Interesting. Okay, it explicitly gives the attribution of compassion and restoration to God. Interesting. All right. The fourth reference is in Psalms 68. He is the father of orphans and judge of widows. God causes the solitary to dwell in a house. He brings out prisoners, so he's doing good things for the needy. Okay, divine judgment. Here's the hard part, right? This doesn't feel very loving. It says the same corpus, meaning the same group of texts, also describes acts of judgment. In Numbers, the literal translation, separate yourselves from the midst of this congregation, and I will consume them in a moment. Right, this is what I question. And in Isaiah, it says, for a day of vengeance belongs to Yahweh. Yikes. Vengeance, it attributes to God. All right. So our first step is to draw a conclusion from all those text pieces. It says within the provided Hebrew and Greek, we have God is love, which is stated in the New Testament, and the Old Testament shows him being a God of deliverance, goodness, compassion, care, but also judgment, vengeance, and destruction. All right, so this is a little tough because we do see the judgment and vengeance coming from the same God too. So let's see. I've asked it to also give us relevant context in the Hebrew and ancient Near East world that may reflect on kind of what the meaning of those words at the time had to do with, how it related to actual life. So this isn't referring to any philosophies or theologies built after it. This is just referencing at that time what were those words basically used for. And this brings up, I think, the covenants, which is a nature of love that we aren't super familiar with in modern days. So it says, in the Hebrew Bible, kings and deities were often described both as protectors and judges. The combination of mercy towards the vulnerable and severe judgment against rebellion fits ancient covenantal language, where loyalty and justice were central themes. Love is shown not merely as emotion, but as covenantal action, deliverance, restoration, and atonement. Interesting. So love is in terms of a covenant. Not only do you take care of this person, but both parties in a loving covenant are held to a standard to take care of their promise to the other person in the covenant. Okay, I think my conclusion is that the love that God has for us is a covenantal love, the type of love where there is a promise to fulfill to the other one, to be faithful. Just like if I were not faithful to my spouse, there are severe consequences. And honestly, if I ask myself, would I want a love that is covenantal, where the other one will not leave me? Or would I like just the soft, emotional love all the time? I think I would choose the covenant.